Okay, so we're going to begin. So, good morning and welcome to another edition of Procurement Pulse. Just before we start, a quick bit of housekeeping. All cameras and microphones are disabled and this webinar is being recorded and your names may be visible. We will be editing the recording after the event to be able to share with those that are interested. So hopefully by now you know my name is Richard and I'm part of the direct channel team here at KCS Procurement Services. We have a packed episode today, so let's get going. So what's on the agenda today, MJ? Over to you.
Thank you very much, Richard, and welcome to everyone joining today. My name's MJ. I'm also part of the direct channel team. Thank you for joining us today. So what's on the agenda? As you'll be aware from last month's episode, we are attending an emergency service show later on in September. So in anticipation, we're going to talk all things emergency services related. So we'll be having a focus on emergency frameworks. There's four in particular, and there's one that's coming soon that we'll quickly highlight. We're going to have our usual question and answer session. So thank you to those who have already submitted some questions, and we'll be giving you a glimpse as to what's coming up next. So coming soon, control and restraint equipment is one that's going to be with us and live pretty soon. Find out through all the usual ways, such as LinkedIn, as of when that will be made live. We'll be talking about it when that does happen as well. But today I'll be discussing and focusing on uniform clothing and associated services, as well as emergency response and rescue equipment. But without further ado, Rich, for the next few minutes, we'll go into the two frameworks he's about to highlight. So over to you, Rich.
Thank you very much. Hopefully now you can see my screen. So at the moment I've got up our catalogue, which you can download from our website. And as you can see, it tells you about the lots, it tells you about the suppliers, it tells you about direct award and further competition. So fire safety products and associated services. These are made up of 5 lots. I won't go into too much detail, but I'll give you a bit of an overview of what's in each one. So lot 1 is fire safety products, things such as fire extinguishers, buckets, fire blankets, fire signs, safety logbooks, and even evacuation chairs. Lot 2, fire risk assessment and fire risk awareness training. This covers things such as identifying hazards, escape and exit plans, fire detection, prevention, types of fire, things like that. Now, this is a very popular subject at the moment due to the new fire regulations which come into effect on October the 1st this year. It's all around fire safety in our businesses, which now, regardless of how many people work in your business, you must have written fire safety policies, which before only applied to businesses with over 5 staff members. This now applies to if you've got 1 staff member. So everybody is affected by this. So you can use lot 2 to get your fire risk assessment so you're compliant with all the changes. And this lot you can also use to provide you with fire marshal training. Another good thing. Lot 3, fire prevention. This is for suppliers who can provide installations, services and maintenance of things such as fire alarms, sprinkler systems and monitoring systems. Lot 4, emergency lighting. Just like lot 3, it's for suppliers that can provide installation services and maintenance for emergency lighting. And the final one on this is lot 5, which is called wet and dry risers, installation, testing and maintenance. So fires can cause death, damage to buildings, stock, equipment, data and documents, and this can have a severe impact on your organisation. Fire safety regulations in place is essential for any organisation to protect their people, property and assets from the risk of fire. By investing in the right fire safety systems and training, you can help to ensure that your organisation is prepared in the event of a fire. Hopefully that won't happen. Next framework, PPE and safety workwear. Now this framework consists of 3 lots and we have 6 suppliers awarded on this framework. Lot 1, PPE equipment. Things such as gloves, masks, helmets, glasses and support wear. Lot 2, safety workwear. Now, this is for chemical protection, flame, high-vis, waterproof footwear and disposables. And lot 3 is what they call a one-stop shop. Now, this is for suppliers who can provide products from both lot 1 and lot 2. Working in a hazardous environment requires employees to use PPE workwear in order to remain protected and safe. Whether they need to be protected from low-level or high-level risk, PPE workwear can be used for protection of things such as heat, flames, hazardous substances, disease exposure, infectious materials, and gases. So obviously quite a varied thing. So that's those two. I'm just going to hand you over now to MJ, who's now going to go through uniform clothing and associated services. Over to you, MJ.
Thank you, Rich. Thanks for that information. Definitely very helpful. So yes, I'll be focusing on uniform clothing and associated services. Just a quick one. Did anyone know this framework's been live since December 2022? Yes, no, maybe. Well, that's the reason why we do these sort of webinars, to bring a bit of a spotlight, a bit of awareness about all the different ways that we can help. So this framework, uniform clothing and associated services, is split into 2 lots. Uniform and associated services, and uniform and clothing accessories, kit bags and footwear. So lot 1 allows you to compliantly procure a variety of different forms of clothing necessary for your workplace. So the range I feel available covers all bases. So from items you'd expect in such frameworks, such as fire retardant clothing, high visibility clothing and wet weather clothing, that's all available. But did you also know maternity wear, plus size clothing, as well as ethnic wear such as turbans, hijabs, that sort of thing, are available through this framework. Associated services means and includes refurbishment, stock management, spend management, decontamination services, that sort of thing. It's quite a lot more that this framework can support with. So take time to have a browse through the catalogue. And if you have any questions, get in touch. We can help with so much more. Okay, lot 2. That's more focused on accessories, which are essential to these sort of frontline emergency service roles. So we're talking quite a vast range, including but not limited to utility belts, tactical pads, batons and handcuffs, safety shoes. I'm told there's a vegan-friendly option as well. So quite a variety of different options. Public order, riot gear, etc. So there's quite a range of different options available for you. And if you see on the right-hand side, you can see a list of the suppliers that we have. So well-known established suppliers, Clad Safety, Healthy Being, they're on both lots, and Elasco on lot 1, and MLA Limited on lot 2. A lot more information is available on the catalogue. Have a browse through there. Now, it's not just the catalogue that you can find information on. For a fully comprehensive overview of the framework, what you will be able to find is more information on our user guides. So I'm just going to share my screen now to bring up the user guide. Just give me a moment. There we are. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see that. The user guide in its PDF version has all the information that you'll need, from information about the licensing authority to what the framework covers, who can access it, etc. So this framework covers quite a lot. It's all about emergency response, and the 7 different lots it's broken down into, all unique and different in their own way. So quickly glance over some of the reasons why you might use each one individually. And if you have any questions, we've got the experts at hand to support. So working at heights, lot 1. You've got descenders and ascenders, connectors, harnesses, pulleys and anchorage, stretchers, suspension seats, and lifting accessories. That's available through lot 1. Lot 2, restricted and confined spaces. So we're talking gas monitors, breathing apparatus, rescue poles, tripods, including fall arrest. That's available. We've got lot 3, which is water rescue, completely different in its own way. So we're talking inflatable rescue boats, dry suits, rescue bags, life jackets, etc. That's available through lot 3. Lot 4, drones and thermal camera imaging. I believe this is going to be one of the more popular ones. So thermal devices, if it's an emergency scenario, multicopters, drones, whatever they're referred to as, are available now through this particular lot. So if you have that necessity, get in touch. We can support you with that. Cutting equipment and tools. So we're talking heavy duty cutters, forcible entry tools. So all of these are unique to the different emergency services. If it's something that your organization needs support with, get in touch. Okay, medical response equipment is lot 6. And as the title suggests, that includes defibrillators, first aid kits, resuscitators, heat retaining thermal blankets. All of that's covered within that particular one. As you can see, there's so much more, which I'm not mentioning right now. And finally, lot 7, so emergency shelters. So for that sort of disaster situation, you've got access to pop-up shelters, medical tents, inflatable emergency tents, and so forth. One thing, I'll stop sharing, that's definitely worthwhile knowing is you don't have to purchase. You've got the option to lease all of this equipment as well. So if you've got that necessity, that query, give us a shout and we'll be able to support moving on forward. Okay, so we'll be moving on to our Q&A session. Just conscious of time, we'll go through as many as possible, time permitting, and if there's any in the Q&A, we'll go through those as well. And I know what Richard's like. He's going to ask me, is my shirt available on the frameworks? It's not, okay? So the first question is, okay, so do I have to wear PPE for my role? Well, do you, Rich?
Well, to be fair, you do. So if your job or your role requires you as an employee to wear PPE, so obviously it's there to minimise your health and safety risk at work, then if you're required to do so, then yes, because obviously otherwise disciplinary action could be taken if you don't conform. So again, don't forget, PPE is all about keeping you safe as an employee, making sure that your health and safety and the risk at work is minimised, and it's all about your well-being. So the answer, quite simply, is yes, you do, if you have to. Yes, definitely. Hopefully that answers that. So are we able to lease equipment then? What's that entail? Obviously, leasing is obviously a good thing for people that want to try and save a bit of money. Are we able to lease?
Yeah, definitely. So going through the emergency response framework, as I mentioned, you are able to lease equipment. It's for some a more viable option. And like I say, it's available on all the lots. It just allows you to have the latest equipment with the best functionality and have those constantly updated rather than having bought equipment if that's not your bag and having really old ones to hand. So that option's available to yourself, and the experts will be able to support with whatever your need is to give you the best solution for your organization. Something quite specific here, Rich, that we've had. What are wet and dry risers? What are those about? You mentioned them a little bit earlier.
Yes, I did. And obviously part of our role is to try and gain as much information about our frameworks and about our suppliers and the sort of offerings they can have. So obviously wet and dry risers, I didn't know what they were until obviously I looked at the framework and spoke to some of our suppliers to find out what it was. I'll try and explain it as best I can so that you understand. But basically, a dry riser is almost like a system of valves and pipes which enables the fire service to pump water onto upper floors of buildings. As an example, so you've got a 15, 16-story building. Obviously, a hose pipe can't reach that far. So what you'll find in these establishments is, and you've probably seen them in hotels where you've got a big red box on the side, and obviously within there is a hose pipe. Now, obviously, to that hose pipe to work effectively, you need water. So if it's that high, they have to pump up the water, hence the dry risers. But the wet risers is exactly the same, but this is kept permanently charged with water by using pumps and tanks. So the dry riser, the fire brigade have to pump water up there, and the wet risers is where the actual water is already in the system, and you can take the hose and use it straight away. Hopefully I've explained that. And hopefully you now, so if anyone ever asks you what a wet and dry riser is, at least you've got an idea. But obviously it's, and I don't know, there's obviously some sort of criteria of a certain height that you've got to start using those. But obviously people in the industry know a lot more about that than me. But hopefully that's explained it in sort of simple terms to help you understand what a wet and dry riser is, or risers, should I say. Another question, again, MJ, that we sort of keep getting asked, and I think it's a really good one to go through just because it's, one of our main benefits of using our framework. So can we do a direct award on all these frameworks? And what is a direct award?
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely direct toward through the frameworks that we've discussed today. It's a means of it's an alternative to the traditional route of further competition. You've got the ability to sort of save time, effort, because you maybe have established a reason why the current incumbent or maybe a new one would suit your criteria in terms of bringing best value. So I'm just going to quickly run through the 5 criteria that you need to match one of, adhere to one of, to be able to direct toward. So the first one is the customer, the buyer is satisfied that following your own due diligence, which is all important, you've identified that the supplier offers the best value. And value doesn't necessarily need to be just cost, it could be the level of service, the holistic sort of a package that they're providing to you. If you've identified that supplier is best for your organization and you've got the due diligence to support that, absolutely you can direct toward. The next criteria is the supplier is able to provide the goods required within a set timescale provided by the customer. So if it is the case that only one can provide by the end of next month and the others can't, absolutely that'd be a reason for you to direct toward. The third criteria is the supplier has scored the highest mark in our evaluation process for price quality. So if that is the case and you wanted to sort of crack on ahead and go with the highest marked supplier, you'd be absolutely compliant in doing that by going through a direct toward route to market. Services required are unique, exclusive. So if it is the case that what you need is only available through one of the suppliers on the framework, that'd be justifiable for you to direct toward, absolutely. And finally, one thing that not everyone's aware, continuity of existing services from an awarded supplier. So if it is the case that you've already got an existing relationship with the supplier, or you're on a different framework maybe with the current supplier and the suppliers on our framework, you can direct toward on continuity basis. So that option's available to yourself to help free up time, effort, if you know who's going to be providing you value for money. So hopefully that answers that question and gives you a sort of a better overview as to why you direct toward. But if you do have any further questions, you can get in touch with us directly in our shared inbox. So we've got PS customer inquiries at csltd.org.uk, or you can contact us directly. You can see our individual email addresses there, as well as our mobile numbers, and you can find us on all the usual places, including LinkedIn. So moving on forward, we will be attending Birmingham NEC as of next month for the Emergency Services Show. Richard will be giving you a bit more information about that. Over to you, Rich.
Thank you. I have had some comments actually, MJ, about your shirt, and people do want your shirt. So it is a nice one. As I said, it's lovely. Okay, so Nick, what's coming next month? Well, as MJ's alluded to, so next month we will be sharing with you our feedback and insights into our first ever live event. As MJ's already mentioned, we will be attending the Emergency Services Show at the NEC on the 19th and the 20th of September. And you can find us on stand E54. Hopefully that's the stand we're going to stay on, because it has changed a couple of times already. So E54 is where we will be. So come and see us live. And if seeing us live wasn't enough, as a special treat, on Wednesday the 20th, we will be joined by our 2 colleagues, Alison and Kaina, who are our framework experts. So please come along and join us for a coffee and a chat. And obviously we'll be more than happy to tell you about all the benefits of our framework and how KCS has progressed in the last few years. So our next episode is on Thursday, the 20th of September at 11 a.m. So please join us then. Look out for the LinkedIn post. I think we pretty much come to the end of this session. We've really enjoyed looking at our emergency services frameworks. We're really looking forward to doing the show in sort of 3 weeks' time. Still some stuff to sort out from our end, but we will be there live, as I said. Come and say hello, come and join us, come and have a chat. Hopefully MJ will be wearing a different shirt, so that will make a difference. But please feel free to come and see us. We would love to see you, and we've really enjoyed today. So from me, thank you so much. Over to you, MJ, for the last few words.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. So I just want to echo what Richard said. Thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you found that useful at some level. If you have any questions, get in touch. We're more than happy to support you. And we've got an extended team. So Callum and Teresa are also at hand. So the support's there. The framework is really easy and simple to use. So do get in touch. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you in Birmingham. But if not, for now, keep your finger on the pulse.
The procurement pulse. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.